To answer your question, he never apologized, and we don't need to forgive people because they have apologized.
Come on.
Forgiveness does not depend on the other person's
Come on,
response.
come on.
It's between you and God first,
Wow.
and then you let God lead you to approach that person.
Wow, wow. So, did you find it easy for you to forget that person, that guy who killed your dad? Did you find it so easy for you to forgive them?
It wasn't easy, but once I discovered that it's the only way to my freedom, the benefit of it really made me enjoy me forgiving this guy.
It's not yet really clear to you what happened, but your father is not there.
Yeah.
All right.
So how I got to know about the hatred and the history of Rwanda. And I encourage people to read the book because I tell this story in the book. It was one morning, it was a Saturday morning. My mom woke me up and told me to escort her somewhere. Be it a weekend, so I thought it was fun. A mom telling you to come with her in a Saturday morning.
And you don't know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, you think we are going to a family function or something. But it was different, and her look on her face was a bit different. So she took me to the Kachacha court. They had to bring that guy in the court. So when I went, that day changed my perspective on life and what happened. So here I meet a guy who is telling a story of how he killed. It was terrible, man. It was very hard to see someone saying terrible things in a laughing manner. So I decided from that day, because my mom corrupts, because he gave details that we really didn't want to hear about how he chopped him, what and what. My mom corrupted in the court. I felt very bad. I couldn't help much at my age. I felt like I should kick this guy, but I couldn't. He was a big man and he was protected. So that day,
This podcast is brought by iSmart House, your best podcast agency in Rwanda.
Hello. Welcome back to Christ Represented Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Mukristu, and thank you so much for tuning in. It's really been an amazing journey so far. Thank you so much for the encouraging comments that you've been giving us. Thank you so much for viewing us. Thank you so much for sharing the videos, episodes that we've been releasing so far. And you people have really been checking with us, and thank you so very much. And of course, I will ask you another favor. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do it, because we want to grow this community. And of course, you really have to be part of this community. And again, this is yet another opportunity of another episode where we are going to be sharing about our past. And it's really an amazing topic, because we have to embrace where we are coming from. And at the end of the day, we talk about how Christ is changing our lives and how we are using our stories. And of course, I just want to encourage you, if you really have something that you went through, because I do believe that everyone has a story. And how about you just find ways of sharing your story, because people need to hear your story. And of course, sometimes we look back and we judge ourselves, and we have not really embraced exactly what we went through. But I just want to encourage you, want to challenge you. If you have a story, if you went through something and Christ has healed you, Christ has redeemed you, Christ has really done an amazing work of saving you, I just want to encourage you to go ahead and share your story, because a lot of people are going through what you went through. A lot of people are struggling with what you struggled with. And when you share, you are saving a lot of people. And today, it is a privilege to have someone here. and it's really good to hear from him. He has an amazing story, and his story is about forgiveness, and we are going to hear a lot about him. So Bruno, you are welcome to Cross Represent Podcast. I am super excited to have you over. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
All right.
For having me. I'm also excited to be here.
Awesome. So I met you through a friend, and it's so good to have you. He recommended you, and I was like, for sure, I really have to have you over, and thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you so much. I hope I'll be a blessing to the audience also.
Absolutely, yes, you're going to be a blessing. So I just want to ask you a question. Sometimes we really don't know how to put this question, and every time this question is asked, we struggle to answer it. But anyway, I'm going to ask you that question. Who is Bruno?
Thank you. It's a good question. Bruno is a Rwandan. I was born here in Rwanda. I did my schools in Uganda. I'm a theologian.
Wow.
I'm an author. I've just released my first book called My Forgiveness Story. And above all, I'm a Christian. I'm a son of God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's not a struggle for you to answer this question because you've summarized everything and you've answered everything. So thank you so very much. Everyone has a story, and your story is amazing. There is a lot of people outside here who are struggling with forgiveness. And why forgiveness? Why did you write a book about forgiveness?
That's a good question. Forgiveness. One of the principles of the kingdom that I struggled with was forgiveness. Other things I could easily understand them. I could easily understand making Jesus the savior of your life, being baptized, giving a tithe, all those principles of the kingdom. But when it came to forgiveness, it was a very hard struggle due to our history as a country, born here before the genocide. So for me, it was a very hard principle of the kingdom that it was hard to apply. And I saw the effect of not applying that that principle in my own life. I remember I like to tell this story where I used to pray the Lord's Prayer, and I couldn't go beyond where I say, forgive us our debts as we forgive those who trespassed against us. And I was like, if God was to forgive me the same way I forgive others, how will it be? How will it look like? So it was a bit hard. That's why I decided to write about forgiveness, so that every Christian who is struggling with forgiveness and with offense will choose to forgive.
Wow. One of the things really which a lot of people struggle with is forgiveness, as you say. And maybe someone can move on with their lives, someone can be saved, but releasing something that has happened to them, forgiving, and also reconciliation, sometimes it's really hard. And your book has really made me curious, because a lot of people are struggling with forgiveness. And what is it that you really wanted to forgive, or who did you want to forgive?
So it's different parts. One was myself. It was very hard to forgive myself. Another was a man who killed my father in the genocide. It was hard to forgive this man because I met him face to face, and I heard him testify about how he killed my father.
My goodness.
And he was not sorry about it. He had never asked for forgiveness. So it was very hard for me to forgive this guy. Especially to forgive someone who is proud of what he did and who never asked for forgiveness. But in that journey, that's where I learned that you can still forgive regardless the attitude of the other person.
So in other words, you're saying that you faced someone who killed your dad in genocide against the Tutsi, and you faced him, he's bragging about it, he's not even sorry about it, and he knows that he killed your father? Oh my goodness. So So now, tell us what happened. So have you chosen to forgive him? Has he made a step of maybe asking you for forgiveness? So is it possible to forgive someone who has not asked you for forgiveness in the first place?
Yes,
Wow.
it's very possible. I forgave this man, and I always tell it with joy.
Wow.
Because it brought freedom into my heart.
My goodness.
I haven't had a chance to talk about it with him. The one time I tried to go and visit him, the Lord told me the attitude that I was taking to the prison was wrong, because I wanted to show him that
the guy is in the prison.
yes, he's in
Okay,
jail.
okay.
So I wanted to show him that I'm better than him. And when I was on my way there, the Lord asked me, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to show him that I was able to forgive him, that I'm better than him. So it was, the attitude was wrong. So I decided to go back home, because what I was going to do was not going to build him. Instead, it was going to kill him. But to answer your question, he never apologized, and we don't need to forgive people because they have apologized.
Come on.
Forgiveness does not depend on the other person's response. It's between you and God first, and then you let God lead you to approach that person.
Wow. So did you find it easy for you to forget that person, that guy who killed your dad? Did you find it so easy for you to forgive them?
It wasn't easy, but once I discovered that it's the only way to my freedom, the benefit of it really made me enjoy me forgiving this guy. Maybe later in the show we'll talk about it. But I was a Christian. I was serving in church before I forgave this guy. But I was struggling. There are some things that in my life that I couldn't let go because of the pain. Wherever I remember that I don't have a father, I could turn to things that will make me feel a little bit easy. So my life was a double life. I was a Christian who is still enjoy some earthly things. But the time I chose to forgive, that freedom of that addiction came in my life. So forgiveness is amazing, man.
All right. Wow. It's just amazing. And I just want to take you a little bit back. Your dad is killed, and you know the person who killed him. And you are, of course, you didn't wake up one morning and then you have forgiven that person. So tell me, how did you grow up with that wound on your heart? And give us a story before you are a Christian, before you believed in Jesus Christ. So how was your life? Like how did you grow up without seeing your father around? And how did that affect you? Affect your emotions? Affect your, you growing up?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I grew up in Rwanda. I was born in a place called Gikondo.
You're a city boy.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, there you go.
In a family of many girls. I have 7 sisters.
Come on.
And I'm the only boy.
Oh.
So it was, I was surrounded with love, to be honest.
Wow.
But I always missed having a male figure in my life, be it a father, no uncles, even a male in the family
the
itself.
household.
So I used to go and hang out with other guys on the street, and sometimes who are not really good guys. But because I wanted people that I can relate with, some stories were not. The girls were too old than, they were older than me. So there are some stories they couldn't share comfortably, me being around.
So you're the youngest?
Yes, I'm the youngest, So it was a bit awkward, but it was a lovely family. So my life before and how I got to know about what happened, because the genocide happened when I was 3.5, so I was very young. So I didn't really know what happened.
So you grew up surrounded with love, and it's not yet really clear to you what happened, but your father is not there. All right.
So how I got to know about the hatred and the history of Rwanda. And I encourage people to read the book, because I tell this story in the book. It was one morning, it was a Saturday morning. My mom woke me up and told me to escort her somewhere.
Okay.
Be it a weekend, so I thought it was fun. A mom telling you to come with her in a Saturday
And
morning.
you don't know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, you think we are going to a family function or something.
Wow.
But it was different, and her look on her face, it was a bit different. So she took me to the Kachacha court. They had to bring that guy in the court.
Wow.
So when I went, that day changed my perspective on life and what happened. So here I meet a guy who is telling a story of how he killed. He referred to him as a cockroach, this cockroach who speaks English in Kenya.
Okay, now wait a minute. So you are there,
Yeah.
and they bring this guy. He's not even sorry about it. He's even naming, of course, the names they used to give to these people. Like he's not even like he's even proud about what he did. And how old were you by then?
I was very young. I was I think 12.
12, and someone who killed your dad is not even sorry. He's in the court and he's there calling names. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Yeah, continue from there.
Yeah, it was terrible, man. It was very hard to see someone saying terrible things in a laughing manner. So I decided from that day, because my mom corrupts, because he gave details that we really didn't want to hear about how he chopped him, what and what. My mom corrupts in the court. I felt very bad. I couldn't help much at my age. I felt like I should kick this guy, but I couldn't. He was a big man and he was protected. So that day, I started getting interested in our history and really what happened. You know, who are these people who killed who and what? So more I got interested into it, it built hatred in my heart, and I started hating the other party. And that's where my life started going in the wrong way. I started getting addicted because the only places I could get this information from were from the guys who are sometimes smoking or drinking. So they were the ones who could tell me the stories freely without passing by. So I started getting myself caught up in those things at very young age. Until I met Christ. And
Wow. So at 12, your mom wakes up one Saturday and she tells you, we have to go somewhere. And before you know it, you in court. And this guy comes and he talks about how he killed your dad and how horribly and terribly killed him. And from there now, you are seeing face to face someone who has done an awkward thing like that, and he's not even sorry about it. And he brags about it, and at 12 I can really feel what happened. And as you're saying, hatred grew in you, and you really started drugging yourself, because now you would be like, oh, now I've lost hope and I really don't exactly what I'm going to do. And when did you start, at what age did you start maybe using drugs, and what drugs did you use?
It was really around that age.
12, 13.
Because I don't recall like the real date like that, because at that age you are really
I know
you know. So but what happened, I found myself sitting on the street with some guys, and then here passes a guy, a street boy, and they send him for some things, and I was not sure what they were sending him to buy, and I was like, okay, me also.
Wow.
So I was very tall. I grew up, I was tall, so some people could confuse my age and my looks. So the guys were like, okay, do you have some coins? I remember it was 50 Rwandan francs back then. I gave my coins, and they said, we'll call you at 4. So I expected sweets or
Oh,
okay.
you had no idea.
I had no
Oh,
idea
my
what
goodness.
what I sent for. So around 4, I was still the age that where they tell me to sleep in the afternoon. So I was sleeping.
Wow.
So my friends, we had the way of calling each other by whistling. So they called me, and of course I responded.
Wow.
So we went behind a house, one of my friend's house, and I realized that we were going to smoke. And I didn't want to look like
An awkward boy.
an awkward
you
boy,
know.
or I'm not cool. So
yeah.
I pretended as if I knew.
Wanted to please them.
Yeah,
and,
as
wow.
if I knew what was happening. And yeah, that's how my journey into addiction started. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was the first day experience? How was it? And you've given your 50, and you don't exactly what these people are going to bring, and before you know it, you are behind the house. And I mean, give me that scenario. Give me that scenario. What is it that they brought? And did you ask them questions? I was expecting this, and you brought this, and what is this? Maybe before you know it, you started smoking. And what was that experience for the very first day you tested?
I acted cool. I acted cool, as if I knew.
You already knew.
As if
Oh
I knew
my
what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
They had already prepared. They had already rolled it. It was marijuana.
Oh my
So
goodness.
the moment I was there, they lit it up, and I was like, okay. They passed. I coughed and passed it back and forth, and the mood changed. I was very high. We sat for a few hours. I remember it was around 4:30, going around 5. So we sat up to 6:30, 7, and I had to go home. And when I reached home, I never forget this experience. My sisters had came from boarding school. So I found them there. They were very excited, and they had all these stories from the boarding school.
Wow. And you are high.
And I was very high.
Oh
So
my
I went on the
goodness.
bed and started listening to their stories, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Wow.
And I thought I was missing them so much. And
Oh wow.
so
Oh my goodness. Like they'll be like, oh man, our brother has missed us, and he's enjoying our stories and everything, and yet the
Yeah,
guy
I was-
is just there
I
struggling,
couldn't stop
and he's
laughing.
high. Oh boy.
So I laughed until I fell asleep, and
Wow.
I was young, so they said, no, don't wake him up. He'll eat tomorrow, and But in the morning, I was like, what was that? What made me laugh? That because I was very quiet growing up, but that day I was very outgoing. So I went to look for more, and that's how I started going day after day, until it became a lifestyle.
Wow. So now that habit is birthed by the experience. From there, you're disappointed, and you have seen someone, as we said, you faced face to face someone who has done something like that, and hoping maybe that you're going to get rid of it. Now you're introduced to marijuana, and life now is going to a different route. Life is really going now to be a little bit complicated. So how do you connect the two? Is it a proper thing to do when someone is disappointed, when someone is hurt, when someone has gone through what you went through? Is taking drugs a way of solving it, or it is causing more problems?
Yeah, I think it's causing more problems because it's not helping at all. So my case was, I would say the root cause were two. One, not having a father figure in my family, and then also second, me experiencing this bad story at the young age that shocked me. So it was a bit traumatizing. So there's this trauma that that comes in my life, but also there's this void that I go to seek for friends out there, which makes the case worse. So I would say if someone has experienced something, it may be a disappointment, it may be a trauma, as I said, it may be loss of a loved one, of something that you really cherished. I don't think the best route to take is to go to drugs, because drugs will start killing you emotionally, intellectually. So you are and that's what the enemy wants. The enemy, the Bible says, he comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. So if he has stolen something you cherish, now his purpose is to kill you and destroy you completely. But the Bible also says those who are weary, come to the Lord, he will strengthen you. So I think the best route to take is to go to Jesus, and he will give you strength.
Amazing. So now, Bruno, your story is just amazing. You are going through a lot. There is that void in you that you don't have a father. Of course, you didn't even have an opportunity of maybe growing up, seeing him around. So he's killed. Number 2, you've seen someone who has killed him. And number 3, there are habits that are coming as a result of that, and of course having the peer pressure that was not really contributing or helping you to even go through the process of healing. And so life is really getting more complicated. Life is not really just, there are no possible ways for you to come out of that. And before we really dive deeper into your story of overcoming that, I just want you to also talk about not having a father figure in your life. How does it affect you, and how are you healing from it as we speak now?
That's a good question, and I hope our viewers will learn something from this. Not having a father figure and growing up in a family full of ladies is another thing.
I know.
But fathers are meant to give us, to instruct us, to tell us what to do, and give you the guideline. As much as a mother can try to do, but women are not designed that way. So she'll give her the whole love that you want. She'll give you everything you want. She'll try to cover all your needs. But the engagement of, what's happening, which stage are you on. So I think that's why the Bible calls husband heads. So, they are supposed to look ahead and guide you through. And also hearing other kids saying that, and, feeling protected and because of a father. So that void makes you start trying to protect yourself and trying to feel, I'm the man of the house now. I need to start protecting my family. And that brought anger into my life. I was a very angry boy when I grew up, because I felt like there's something the society is demanding me that I'm not offering. So the only way to cover and protect was to get angry at people, like an angry dog that barks at people to get away. So and this to all the guys following us, if God blesses you with a kid, try to be there for them. And I've seen guys who are not being there for their kids in this generation of ours, not because just because they don't feel like, or because they think it's not the right time. But I really want to talk to every guy. If God blesses you with a kid, no matter the circumstance that the kid comes in, be the father that I believe that our generation, we didn't get a chance to have good fathers. Even those who have their fathers who are still alive, they are a bit traumatized or a bit very busy. They are not pleasant. So to us, the young generation, I think we should change the game and be good fathers. Just be there for your kid, and whatever you have, teach them, and they will learn a lot from you.
Because you hear stories. a lot of people say, yes, my dad is still alive, but I wish he was not there, because he's passive and he's not present. He's, maybe he's providing, but I don't really feel him, and that gap is really there, and there is a lot of void in the hearts, in the emotions of the young generation. And sometimes I really understand them, because maybe they went through a lot. But of course, their responsibility is to protect, is to nurture, is to, provide the emotional security, and also train us to be men that we really have to be. And of course, manhood is really somehow being challenged, because there is no training growing up. And of course, I feel you, my brother, that it has really challenged you. It has really affected you. But thank God that today you are here, and see, you are sharing and talking about it, and you're encouraging fathers just to be present, and also to do something about their lives, and with the young generation, with their sons and daughters. And of course, man, that is really challenging. That is really challenging, and it has affected you, because you kept talking, you kept saying that not having a father figure in my life has also caused me to go even astray, to even go in that route of life. And you started taking drugs, and you're just there. And for how long have you been? How long have you used drugs?
It was a long journey, man. It was how many years, man? It was more than 15 years.
More than 15 years. Oh my goodness. So was it, have you reached to a point where maybe you became a drug dealer, or have you ever been to prison because of that?
I thank God that God protected me several times. God protected. I was always at the door of being caught. So with this thing that we are talking about, sometimes you seek acceptance in a different way. You are seeing guys, and you want to be accepted as one of them. And then you start doing even things that you wouldn't do. I remember when I was in high school, I think it's senior 3, the school was very strict. So it was very hard for us to go out. Because I was in Uganda, me being a foreigner, it would be easy for me to get out and easily. So I started I could go and buy a lot and bring at school and start distributing within the school.
Selling them.
But it was not because I wanted profit or so, but I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be accepted. So it was that way, but it wasn't a big like a drug. It was within the school. Which was a bad experience, because now you start focusing on that thing and you don't focus on your studies. And
someone can really tell that you really went through a lot, from testing the very first day, if I may recall, behind the house, and you always wanted to act cool. And exactly that's how habits are cultivated. Habits, a very small seed is just sown into your emotions, and because you just want to act cool, and and someone introduces you to something, but they have sown a seed that is really going to bear fruits. And of course, man, now you're talking about 15 years. It's really been a struggle. It's really been a way that no one could wish to go through. And I feel like telling you sorry for everything that you went through. And today you are a man. Today you are standing. Today you are really on a journey of becoming better. And so how long have you, now, what is the turning point? How did you overcome? And now you're talking about you went through, you did theology, and you are an author today, and you're talking about forgiveness. And we wanted us to lay this background, and also to talk about what happened for you to forgive, and what is the turning point of everything, and how did you make a decision that I'm going to forgive?
This podcast is brought by iSmart House, your best podcast agency in Rwanda.